Hey guys, I'm Trinity. I'm gonna do a reading for January for you today. I pulled these cards at the beginning of the month. I just haven't been able to really get on video or anything to get it read out, and I'm deciding to do that now. That's my first video. So anybody who's queuing in, nice to meet you. I'm Trinity. Um, uh, I love doing tarot readings. I do energy updates for people and just the collective, and I'm a twin flame. And right now my husband's in the shower, so I'm taking a moment to actually use our living room and silence to bring this out to you guys. Um, Anyways, I pulled from the Sacred Geometry Activations Oracle. I love these cards. They're one of my favorites. I do them every month, and I like to keep them on my little altar that's behind me. Kind of see it. I leave them there. They kind of put out blast energy for the collective and my own life and our own family, and uh, basically put little grids on there with crystals and everything, and set intentions to just send love and whatever the card is radiating. I had pulled originally the heart card, and so I put that on my table over there with some carnelians and a gift my son gave me for Christmas, which is a little rose, and it's like from Beauty and the Beast in a little tiny glass case, and it's just sitting there. My intention is that our hearts can bloom, that we take the love in that is very offered to us right now, and we just use that to let the rose within us bloom forth, and to really stand in the. I pulled two other cards because I wanted the spirit to more clarify on what's going on with our heart chakra right now and what is coming forth and kind of blooming at this time. And the first card I drew was Authority. Um, Really cool card. It's number 10, and it explains that it's the frequency of authority reminds us that true authority is powerful, directed, and realized, yet receptive, wise, and loving. Um, I'm going to go in and read that card, but I also wanted to show you guys the second card that pulled out. Normally I only do one, and it called me to do the second card, and I pulled the card of Delight. It is number 19, which when you add it together is also a 10. So it's creating what I call a 10-10 portal, which is a very awesome just synchronicity. It creates really great energy of awakening, of enlightenment, and just gives more opportunity and chance to anchor in more energy when you have those types of 1-1 portals. And people can go back in my blog and read more about numbers and how they correlate and the synchronicities behind them if they want to learn more about it. I'm not really going to go into it in this right now, but I will get into reading the Delight card right after I read the Authority card. The Authority card, it says the word authority has mostly been used to describe the powers that rule, govern, lead, direct, control, and protect. It has also been closely associated with the powers that dominate, suppress, enforce, demand, and scare us. Authority is about power. True authority is generated by maturity, knowledge, wisdom, experience, and inner balance. This kind of power comes from within, where it is deeply rooted in a solid connection to Source. Externally, this power expresses itself as presence, the ability to be completely in the moment with the full awareness of every aspect of oneself, all senses fully engaged while being completely centered in the heart. Mm, there's the heart chakra for you. Internally, this power steps back to witness, allowing us to perceive and discern without attachment. From all this, a new form of authority arises, one that leads, shares, directs, and conducts with benevolence, grace, compassion, wisdom, and integrity. This kind of authority inspires trust, creation, collaboration, and partnership. January and the beginning of 2018 is really revolving around collaborating with others and getting your tribe together and really working with others to start creating the foundations of the new earth we really want to be within. And um, it just helps. it's a journey inward that we're going on together, and we're all, when you go back to the knowing that we're all one, we all come from the same creator, the same I am. We realize we can't do everything alone. Yes, there's a certain level of authority we need to keep of ourselves and a balance of that, but we also really much do really need each other, and we need those connections, and the right connections, the ones of like-minded, conscious awareness, and we don't really want to put our time and invest it into those that are bringing us our frequency lower. Sorry, I had to words sometimes just leave my brain. Um, Anyways, green represents energy that abundantly flows from the heart, like the heart chakra card that I pulled. Turquoise represents the high heart chakra, sometimes refers referred to as the thymus chakra. It's going in and it's just telling us about the colors within this grid and kind of what we're working with and what's being utilized at this time. um, the place where the heart and throat energies merge into loving expression of truth. Gold and yellow represent abundance, truth, enlightenment, and self realization. Um, in numerology, three is considered a catalytic number. I am the number three. That is my life purpose number. My real name is Kymberly. I go by the name Trinity. I do that because of the number three. It's kind of been my own awakening process, and I'm very connected to the number three. It's like the natural cycles of the earth of 369. That's kind of how I work. Also, I'm always looking for those synchronicities and those numbers, and number three is mastery to me, and that's basically what I'm here to be, to become, and what all of us have the potential to be. I'm not the only one here that can do this. I want others to learn and do it themselves. I'm not here to be your guru. I'm my own guru. I work with my shadow. I work with other tools that are brought to me. I work with the people that I'm guided to work with. I use a lot of things, and I like to. It's basically divination in every realm that you could think of. And I use that for myself. I use it for everyone around me. I use it to come up with my own collective energy, updates, and starting to do them obviously live, because typing, since I'm an auto writer, really it's taxing and it takes a lot more time. So I'm trying to really utilize my time uh, a little more. I don't even have the word. It's just more manageable. So in numerology, three is considered the catalytic number. I always consider myself a catalyst. It stands for an energy. It stands for an energy that speeds up or creates a reaction between two unrelated things without necessarily changing itself. And there are many sixes in this image. Six is associated with harmony, love, and balance, as well as with structure, design, and efficiency. Conceptually, circles stand for everything and nothing at all, balance and infinity, purity, and freedom. It was actually this deck of cards that inspired me to get the tattoo that I have right here. The flower or seed of life. I This represents so much to me. It needs to be a little fixed up, but all the colors in it represent something to me. Every little inch of it is basically what is unfolding within me in my heart right now. The seed is been planted, and it was planted many years ago, since birth, and I am ready to really step into who and what I truly am, not just as a human and as Kymberly, but truly embodying the essence of Trinity, which is my focus, is to have mind, body, and soul balance, where all of this is, it can be clear, a clear vessel, and totally in tune with source, where you're just pure knowing, instead of all the monkey brain, all the can't make sense of anything, chaos. You're able to really center into the heart, like in this month is really what's been the focus. um Six is it's like I already read, it's associated with harmony, love, and balance, and like the 369 I had already kind of gone into, there's a pattern with these with integration in these numbers. Um, Conceptually, circles stand for everything and nothing at all, balance and infinity, purity and freedom. So I when I first awakened, I had seen a triangle with three circles in the middle of it, and I didn't understand anything about it. But the more that I think about it, I'm within this circle or this triangle, and I'm just doing the one, two, three right now. There's a certain step, and I had started with one, two, three, and gradually I've been going up over the years. And me and my twin flame kind of keep track, and right now we're kind of seeing ourselves in the 7, 8, 9. We and there's you can bounce between those numbers depending kind of what frequency you're choosing to engage in. But this guides you to close your eyes and contemplate the concept of authority for a moment. How does the word make you feel? Do you consider yourself an authority in certain areas? Are you kind of wise in your guidance of other people? Or, sorry, are you kind and wise in the guidance of other people? Are you coming from a place of wholeness and balance? Now, that is always what I'm striving to do, to be balanced and bring authentic readings to people, authenticity, not only for myself, but for others. I strive to be as real as possible. Um, a lot of times, because I'm not using my voice when I'm writing, people will take my words the wrong way. I do choose to cuss, only of choice, because they can be to me known as trigger words, and I'm trying to purposely trigger people. I am a catalyst, and if you're triggered by a word, there's deep stuff that really needs to be worked with. A word should not make you have such an emotional response. Words really should be able just to flow through your body, and you should be able to just go hmm instead of attaching to them. Which there's a book that I've been really reading, and I'm going to actually go into it today. It's one that I'm led to read. Um, that speaks about the different shadows that we as humans kind of have to work with and need to really be awakened to is a part of our DNA. It's kind of what we're evolving right now. And it's neither good or bad. It's really neutral. And it's all happening on a cellular level within us, the change that's coming. And we become that change we wish to see in the world. And that it starts with your, in a way with your DNA, but it goes even deeper. You want to learn how to flow with your emotions, not be restricted and constricted by them. And that's been something that I've been really learning this month. Also, I've been working with what they're called the gene keys, and I'm kind of going through a 64 days of gene keys with it, and it kind of has taken me through. I've already in my blog written about the 12th gene key. Since then, I've kind of been shown different, given different what is the word, examples of people who have come to me, and I've been able to use them as an example to see the shadow that's at play and kind of bring people into the gift that's there underneath that shadow if you sit with it for a moment instead of just reacting or responding to it in the way that it itself explains happens when you're in the shadow of it. I'm here to not only step into the gifts and become and embody the siddhis, which the 64 gene keys represent the 64 hexagrams of the I Ching. I'm really interested in the I Ching because it revolves around the Book of Change. It works with what is happening to the world right now, what is happening to humanity, and kind of the trajectory of what is going to happen, where we're going as a species and as a planet and as an ecosystem, since that's what we all are. Together we create an ecosystem, and we're striving for this heart balance and this I call it Trinity alignment of the mind, body, and soul. We really want to anchor our souls here. They want to be here. They want to do what they've were born to do, their birthright. We want to take that back, and we're supposed to be free here. We're under a system, what I call is a matrix, and it's very hard and confusing to navigate. And the goal is to really relinquish and find the freedom from it and liberate ourselves from it completely. And I believe we can do this. I am doing it in my life. I feel like I'm living proof of uh, the Matrix and the movie being more of a documentary because I'm living it and I pretty much am that. I embody it. And so many ways, not only the character, the Oracle in there, but the character Trinity. And, I was Neo at one point, and I'm witnessing so many Neos, and it's like, you're the one. And the point is, we're all the one. We're all part of the one. And it is your choice if you want to be part of that great plan or not. If you want to be a part of what I will eventually speak upon of the 55th gene key, which is the great change that is coming, the dragonfly dream. And we're all each living our own individual dreams, but we are part of a much greater one, and we have to choose to create that. Otherwise, we're just going to keep creating the same dysfunctional chaos and barbarism that we've been living with for the last 26,000 god knows years. So um with that, I'm going to bring us into the other card, which is delight. Again, it's number 19, but also representing a 10, um, which is the same, which was the number of last year, 2017, brought us from the 10 into the 11, which is still carrying for the 1, which is all about new beginnings, new starts, fresh blank pages. We have a whole new story to write. Who cares about our past history? We're learning about it. The timelines are collapsing right now. We're bringing it all together so that we can, it's kind of like when you take, um, when you enter a garden and you're moving, I don't know the word right now, I'm trying to get it but it's not coming to me. You're grinding up the soil. That's what we're doing right now. We're grinding up the soil so that way we can seed things and we replant it, and this Garden of Eden we all wish to create together can actually start to have a real foundation. Right now we're working with concrete. What does our world look like? It's concrete. We have to tear that concrete down if we want Gaia to live. She is nature, she is trees, she's earth, she's wild, and she is free. She's not a concrete box. And this has really been the message coming to me this month, that she's like, I'm done with the concrete. I'm breaking free, and those ready to break this matrix with me, get on board, because it's happening. And it is happening. And I'm delighted by that fact. And we should be in delight about that, because where there is so much destruction of one thing, you tear that down just to rebuild something much greater. And what is to come should be delighted. It should be We should be allowing ourselves to be open and receptive to it, not in fear of it. um, I feel like the past couple of years I've been prepared for this, because I used to be the person fearful of everything. I was afraid of the end of the world. I would wake up when I was younger afraid. I was Christian. I woke up and I'd wake up being like, oh, is the rapture happened? Where is everybody? And if I didn't hear the Christian radio playing, I'd be like, oh shit, I've been left behind. Well, that was a fear that was in me forever. And now I've pretty much let that go. I know I'm not being left behind. I am sovereign, and God as creator has me in their hands. I have no fear, or at least I'm trying to drop, if there is any fear that is existent, I am working towards, relinquishing that and being in full faith and trust and surrender to the divine and the plan that is happening. And I'm all for it. I'm here to help it. I'm here to help Gaia. I'm here to help bring forth the truth of the Magdalene. I'm here to be and make a change. And there's many more that I know is supposed to be here with me doing it. And I'm, you know, honeybee, just like so many others, just getting our tribe together so that we can do these things. And if you feel called towards any of this, definitely get a hold of me, because I'm here to help change the world in any way I can be of service. I'm pretty much been told, step up and act, do it now because you're ready. I've been sitting behind the scenes, kind of doing my own thing. Now I'm told to move forward, to actually start being of true service, more than I'm a massage therapist here in my world, but I felt like I have so much more greater potential as a healer, and my voice can do so much more. My readings can do so much more. What I'm learning and gathering is also very pertinent to what's happening to the collective. And I know I'm kind of at a level of a higher perspective that I can really help people who are kind of more stuck in their own the gene key that I'm actually going to be talking about today is the 10th gene key. That's the number that came up the most. So that's 10, 10, 10. They told me to speak of the 10th gene key, and it talks about self obsession. That's the shadow of self obsession. And the gift of naturalness coming into the city of being, just learning to be. And that's my goal, is just being the divine being that I am. And I know that to be Trinity. And whatever Trinity is, if that rings to you, you're part of it. If that makes you tingle, if that makes you go, oh, ah, oh, you're part of this. I'm just a core arm. I'm a fractal, and that's what the gene keys will explain. That I'm just part of the greater blooming of one tree, the Trinity tree, and she's ready. She's here. She is like what Gaia is like. Come to me. And I've been seeing visions of me being the dove, and I'm nestling up in this tree, and you just, I'm here. I'm ready to give you the wisdom, but you have to open your heart and be ready for it. I've been trying to force it upon people, and it's because I'm so excited. I felt the liberation and freedom of it myself, and I want other people to experience it too. And I get so excited. I don't mean to push people away. I don't mean to scare them. I fucking love you guys. Obviously, I'm crying, and I'm just here to help. It's not all about me. I'm doing my shadow work. I'm doing my work. And I want to show people that there's a way that you can do it too. You don't have to be just feeling like your head is being locked off, because you don't need me to be Kali. I don't have to be Kali. I'm Kali Kula, and I write about what that means. Kali is a great goddess, and she's gonna come. She's gonna take your head off. Even Kuan Yin, in a graceful way, is saying, remove that brain of yours. Remember your heart, because this is the last place you want to be, and it matters, but not as much as this. And this is where we want to be centered. And that's where we find our delight. That's where we can, even amidst the chaos, there's still delight in everything. I find little synchronicities, and I find these little miracles all over the place. And it doesn't matter if I'm, lately I've been crying because I'm mourning my friend Patrick Horn. I lost him in 2011 to suicide, and it's been a huge sacred wound for me that I've just been unraveling and learning where it's sitting in my body and how to just move with it, not resist, not go into constriction, and not to allow it to stay there, but to fully open to it and feel it all, and allow whatever rage or anger or sadness or emotion that needs to come forth to fully be free. I'm trying to create a space where people can kind of be their own Broadway, play any part they want, scream if they have to, throw a freaking plate if they, it's like a huge Broadway, you can sing, you can laugh, you can dance, you can imagine it. Just, come bring your imagination to the forefront. That's where I am. That's where the dream begins. Um, I'm one of those people where I keep your eyes on the stars, but your feet on the ground, this is just, to me, it's a grand stage, and I'm just an actress, and I take on the roles and I play them as I need to, but that does not make me that role. I am never that role forever. It's just a mask, and I strive to remove that mask completely and just be me, be love, be free. The gene key of being. So now let me actually read the card of delight to you guys. Delight literally means from the light. Science refers to light as electromagnetic radiation that can measure in wavelength, and visible light as a range of wavelengths and variations of color that we can perceive with the human eye. In New Energy, we are asked to consider the multidimensional attributes of light as fundamental to what we believe about it as well. Light has a yeah, sorry, I just got sidetracked. My whole body is tingling right now. Light has a quantum attribute and is nonlinear. It is an energy that can be created through consciousness, and consciousness can create it in return. Light influences our awareness, our perception, and therefore our reality. We associate the word delight with feelings of pleasure, joy, and happiness. Joy and bliss are considered to have some of the highest frequencies of all emotions. By feeling joy or blissful, our frequency goes up. The higher our frequency, the more light we generate and the more we can shine in return. The yellows, oranges, and pinks in the images refer to the sun as a symbol and source of our light. The beauty of the flower stimulates our feeling of joy, and the colors are like the sun, bright, warm, stimulating, and nurturing, all at the same time. The flower blooms while receiving light, or perhaps it is shining the light that we are receiving. The flower of life, visible within the image, represents the grid in which our three-dimensional reality is based. That's why I got this as a tattoo. We're just in 3D, but we need the delight in the light that we are. The 3D truly, it's 3D, third dimensional, and guess what? We have up to 22 dimensions that we can play with. You are limiting yourself. Come into the frequency of delight, of joy, of bliss. That's where I live. That's where I always am, even when it seems like I'm angry or enraged. I go back to this always, because that's who and what I am. I'm divinity. I'm Trinity. So there's that card. It says here, close your eyes, go inside yourself, and imagine a beautiful sunset. Let the reds, oranges, pinks, and golds fill your heart. Now think about what brings you joy, what makes you happy. How do you express these feelings? I write. I auto write. That's my favorite thing to do, and now I'm doing this. How do you shine your light on others? This is my next step in shining my light. How can you create more joy in your daily life? I'm going to start doing yoga. I'm going to start doing things more for me. I'm going to start going out with friends more, moving, and actually uh, start making time and appointments for friends and people that matter to me. And that's my goal in action, to take care of my body. Because even though, this, our multidimensionality matters, this body matters too. It's the vessel that gets us to and fro. It is our best friend right now, and we need to treat it like it is, not ignore it, not hate it, not tell it it's stupid, not tell it it's lacking, not telling it it's worthless. It will do what you tell it and what you program it. If you keep saying I can't, I won't, or I'm trying, those words aren't they're not benefiting you. You must change the way you word things rather than say I am, I will, and that will eventually start changing your very being. That's what I've been doing my whole life, or not whole life, but the past couple of years since I've been becoming consciously aware. And it's one step at a time, but if you start doing it, that's the best thing you can do to yourself. Just every time that you get negative, just to stop yourself and breathe and say, hey, this is not the truth in who I am. Breathe. Do you sing in the car or in the shower? Yes, I do. Now try it yourselves. I even have a sticker on the back of my car that's fading off, unfortunately, that says, caution, driver singing. I love to sing. I've not had much confidence in my voice. I'm learning that it's more of an opera. Not everybody likes opera, but hey, I'm going to start learning how to sing again. I'm going to use my voice again. I'm not just going to keep hiding. I can't keep hiding because I have light. I need to delight in that. So right now, I'm going to read to you this gene key. It's going to take a little bit of time. It's a couple pages of stuff, but it is jam-packed full of a message that is waiting and ready for many of you. And that I'm sorry I didn't get this to you sooner in January, but I've had one heck of of a 3D life going on right now, really trying to center and balance it with the what people call the 5D. I'm 5D, but I'm even beyond. I'm It's hard to even explain where I am, but I'm on so many different frequencies that I have to really. It takes a lot for me to really just come back. I have to come back, and actually, Gene Keys helps me do that, so that's why I'm so um, excited to share it with people, and then it's in me to become an ambassador of it. And I couldn't even say that word correctly, ambassador of it, um, because it's I don't know, it's changing my life, and it's and I found it in last year, but it's pretty much everything that I've been doing for the past couple of years. It brings it into in a wow, I can now explain this to people. Wow, now I can show them what I see. I can show them what 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 I'm experiencing, and also help you guys hopefully see a higher perspective and get out of the that 3D stuff you got going on. I don't even have words for it. Like, I don't like words. I honestly, talking is taxing for me. Half the time I've avoided getting on camera because I trip over my words. I'm dyslexic and I have all these, you know, disabilities, but truly they don't disable me. Um, I'm coming out of that shell. I know it's not a disability. I'm so freaking brilliant in my mind and a genius that I'm faster than I can even speak. I'm too fast, and that's okay. I'm learning to give myself the space and the time to let it come. I always have myself on a time limit, and me and time have been kind of at a battle, and that's where I'm usually like, fuck time, because quantum has no time, and that's what I am. I'm a quantum person. I'm a quantum being, and you all are too, and eventually, if you don't get it right now, you're gonna get what I mean. Time is just gonna become fleeting. So, here we go. The 10th gene key, being at ease. The 10th shadow of self obsession. This is within the codon ring, the ring of what's called humanity. It starts with the 10th gene key, goes on to the 17th, 21st, 25th, 38th, and 51st. Today's the 26th, but yesterday was the 25th, and I had a rough day. I had a really rough day. I was in mourning and grieving of my friend, like I said, from 2011, and it's really it's a sacred wound that I'm unwinding, and the 25th gene key speaks about that sacred wound and about what I feel has been the battle between the sexes, between the masculine and the feminines, all this 3D BS that we have going on. And it talks about the shadow of constriction, the gift of acceptance, and the city of universal love, which is all I wish to be and show. So I went through the delayering process, and I went through the emotional. I had an emotional day yesterday. I'm still very emotional. It was so much so that it hurts my body. 3 times a year I get constricted in my neck, and I can't even move. I can't service anyone else. I can't even think straight. I have to take a narcotic for it to go away, and that's the last thing I want to do because Western medicine is not, it's a temporary band aid, and I'm here for a deeper thing, and I knew it. It's something I've been working with for some time, and it goes back to all the abuse and trauma I've had with the masculines. The abuse and trauma that I've extended to myself in words and thoughts, and what I've allowed, and what I've accepted. of lies being told that I'm not my whole life. It's basically really, really cradling your inner child. That's what I do. And I see everybody as a reflection. And if there's discord, where inside of me is there discord that someone else is reacting or responding in any certain way with me? I immediately become interdependent. I'm not codependent. I feel like I am on a lot of healers because the synergy, when you do work with another, it really helps release more. But the interdependence of my own authority and God, that the creator, that I know it exists, whatever we're a part of. And whatever that is love. That's outside the stupid matrix. All that exists is love. I'm ready for universal love. I'm learning self love on so many deep levels. I'll never be finished. I'll always be learning to love myself. Just as anybody else. It's a delayering process, and we'll do it our whole life. But we don't have to suffer. Pain doesn't have to bring suffering. I've definitely learned this in my own journey. And I've dealt with a lot of physical pain. A lot of it. Multiple car accidents, being a mother, pregnancies have changed my body, emotions, trapped with past lives, present, future, who knows. But that delayering process, as long as you remain steadfast and you believe you're worth it, you're worthwhile, and that what you do will affect and create a change. If you believe that and have faith in that, it will manifest miracles. All that takes is faith. Anyways, seventh, I can't even talk. The 10th shadow of self obsession. The maze pathways of the self. Okay. As one of the keystones of human individuality, the 10th gene key and its frequency bands points towards one of the deepest of all human issues, the notion of self love. This intangible force within human beings begins life here in the 10th shadow, where it brings continual focus on our own immediate environment, which is your body. This is one of the most primitive of all aspects and archetypes within the human genome. At its shadow frequency, it tightens all your life force and forces it inward, which in the long run makes it one of the most mystical of the 64 shadows. It is here that the individual journey towards awakening and transcendence truly begins. My whole body's tingling. I've got goosebumps right now. However, this genetic central piece force excludes other beings from your immediate concern and attention. In early humanoids, the 10th shadow ensured individual survival since it put the safety of its own vehicle before anything else. In humanity, to see a person give his or her life for another or for a higher cause is to see this 10th shadow transcended, as its prime purpose is to put oneself first. In our modern world, the 10th shadow still governs us on a collective level, even though it is showing signs of awakening today. The emphasis of the 10th shadow is on the individual, who can be both a blessing and a curse. Individual differentiation is the cornerstone of evolution itself. If we humans do not discover our own identity and uniqueness, we cannot transcend it and move our society to a higher level. The blessing is that the more different we allow ourselves to be, the more we operate as a unity. This is one of the most beautiful of all human paradoxes, that only through our very diversity can we arrive in our unity. But there are forces that tug against evolution, and those forces coming from within keep us from experiencing our true uniqueness. The programming partner of the shadow is the 15th shadow of dullness. And since the 15th shadow conceals a fear of being different, it shuts you down at a collective level. The 15th shadow makes us into lemmings that follow the crowd, thus allowing our uniqueness to be overridden. Just as the 15th shadow puts our attention on everything but our own uniqueness, the 10th shadow does the opposite. It makes you obsessed with your own uniqueness and how to find it and follow it. Thus, in the world today, we can see many main types of people: those who follow the crowd, and then those who try to escape the crowd at all costs. The 10th shadow does not and cannot consider anyone outside oneself. Through this shadow, you become so self-obsessed that you no longer see or hear the feelings of those around you. This makes it very difficult for other people to relate to you, even though you may feel that you can relate to them. Even though you may have many relationships, the truth is that you don't have enough space within your psyche for the concept of others. Everything and everyone is viewed through your own subjective projection field, and this loss of objectivity can lead to only one result. It creates havoc in all of your relationships. Through the lens of the 10th shadow, all you see when you look at others is people you would like to change. Thus, you find it extremely difficult to accept anyone else for their uniqueness. In psychology and psychiatry, such self-obsession is known as narcissism. In moderation, it is considered to be an essential component of a healthy psyche. However, at the shadow frequency, such narcissism, like the legend it is derived from, keeps human beings endlessly trapped by their own reflection. Ironically, the more of an expert you become in the subject of the lower self, the further away you travel from your higher self. And that's where I am trying to go beyond um, in my own life. Not focusing so much on this lower self. I am very much taking care of the body, but the lower mind thoughts, um, not even ideas, the obsessions and thoughts and beliefs. I'm detaching from those. I'm going beyond. I'd rather come to my higher self, allow the higher self there all the time, and not even allow my ego to rule. Like, me and my ego are one. Yeah, I know you're there. Hey, buddy, fuck off. That's what I usually say. My higher self is here. Trinity's here. She's calling the shots, not you. It's a higher will that I allow, and that I am teaching my ego to surrender to. It's not so much as I'm gonna tear you apart, ego. No, that ego is my inner child too. That ego is just as much a part of me. It's the dark, nasty shit that I don't want to accept. That's who I am. That's who you are. That's the mud, and the muck, and the shit that created you. It is the void. It is the picture yourself in an egg. It's that weird, nasty stuff around you, but it's essential in your growth. It's very essential. You can't just, you don't just, in Western these days, yeah, they do just throw the placenta away after a baby is born. But if you do your history, if you eat the placenta, it actually gives nutrients that are very vital to the baby. And if you save that blood and cord, change their life when they're older if something happens to them. Like, there's been studies done, and there's so much that we toss away that we look at and yuck. Heck, sometimes I'm even when I'm cleaning myself during the time of the month and I'm bleeding, I'm going, ew, but it's not nasty. We need to really realize that is the essence of who we are. And that's what we give to Gaia to make her happy. She flourishes off of that shit. Give that to her. Don't hold it in your own body. Don't calcify it around you. You're supposed to come out of that egg, that placenta. The earth does with it what she needs to, and she will devour it how it needs to be devoured and utilized. Us humans just trying to be God. We are God, but we're not. All together, we're creation. But that's where humility really needs to be laid focus on. So, but anyways, I'm gonna go back into the book. Sorry, I go on tangents. You'll learn that with me. Okay, so I'm not trying to be self-obsessed or anything. Speaking of it, okay, the self-obsession of the 10th shadow is driven by fear, and it is a very specific unconscious fear. It is a fear of losing your identity. I have no fear about that. I got no identity. I'm cool being any identity, honestly. It's fun, keeps things interesting. Anyways, as one of the deepest of all human fears, this fear forces you into a pattern of trying to find out who you are in order that you might find some kind of predominant definition in life. This quest for your true identity is the greatest quest there is. It is the ageless journey of self knowledge. I can't say this. Epitomized in the famous axiom cut into the stone above the door of the oracle in Delphi. Holy shit, they're talking about me right now. I just discovered all this. If you read my blog, I just discovered what Delphi was, and Spirit has told me you are creating the new temple of Delphi. You are, through the Gene Keys, going to be a new oracle of Delphi, and there's much more that I'm creating here, guys, than just, it's not just me. It's meant for everyone. I'm not the only special person, superhero here, okay? There's many of us, and I just want you to remember your superheroes and that you have gifts and you can utilize them. They're being given to you, wrapped up right now. And it's your choice to unwrap it. If throw it away, I don't care. It's your own soul. Why would you want to throw that away? Anyways, know thyself. However, at the low frequency of the shadow level, this quest for self-knowledge becomes an obsession that actually keeps you from defining who and what you really are. In your thirst to escape your fear, you create a journey that has no end, filled with drama and adventure perhaps, but ultimately one in which you never have to face yourself. This is the craft of the 10th shadow. It tricks you into chasing the shadow of your own reflection, and your very journey towards your true nature becomes your own net. I did this for many years. I finally saw how I was netting myself, and I saw this cycle of of woundedness. And I finally decided to break free of that. And it's like it's in the past year or even the past 2 years, I found one of my twin flames. I'm learning, we have 12 twin flames. If you think you have one, no, we're multi-dimensional beings. We have trinities of twin flames, okay? And we're all meant to come together and work together. And it's not about sex. It's not about the 3D version of love that you all have been conditioned to believe in. It's so much more than that. It's universal love. It's true love. It's pure heart love. And I've been shown this so much this month. And I'm being cracked open. And it's what I've been asking just to happen forever. And it's finally happening to a point where I'm seeing the gifts and I'm not seeing it as bad. I'm not seeing it as duality. I'm seeing the gift. And I'm embodying the Siddhi. It's funny because yesterday, well, I was looking for a picture called the Sacred Wound, or a picture that could represent a sacred wound. And I was looking through, none of the pictures were coming to me, though it did represent, it did show pictures of Christ, it did show the various different things. But the one thing that caught my eye was a deck I actually have of cards that called Sacred Rebels by Alana Fairchild, who's my favorite author and favorite everything. I will say that right now. She's who I base a lot of my work around and inspires me the most, and got me writing again and put a fire under my butt. Besides this book, Gene Keys, which I'm reading to you guys, and various other oracle decks, she has been the basis of inspiration and delight for me. Um, and I recently got that deck, and I had pulled that card, but this card before that had come up, and it was number 25. Yesterday was the 25th. Number 25, and it spoke of the sacred wound directly, and it had a fish, bone, kind of half bones, and while it was going back in the water, its scales were coming back. It was like it was no longer just bones. And I've read that card before, and perhaps I'll include it later, but I'm not going to go out of my way to find it right now. But it just stuck out to me because that's exactly what's happening right now. And the fact that there was a fish in it, and I'm dealing with my friend Patrick Horn. He loved fishing. I see a fish and I think of him, and even my twin flame that I live with, he has a gone fishing hanging up right next to his door, and his dad gave him that. I'm like, what the heck is that for? And I've been feeling Pat a lot lately, and that is he is connected to a very deep sacred wound for me. He's a divine masculine. I feel that the world lost, and I feel like we're losing so many of them. Even divine feminines in this battle. Everybody, me, so self-obsessed and so absent and not present that we are losing precious, precious people. And more, it hurts to watch this. I'm a Heyoka empath. I feel their pain. I feel it all around me. I feel the world. I cry. And my esteemed self is like, this is just gotta stop. And I come back to center and realize, where's your inner battle? Kim, where's your inner battle? Where's yours? I have been hurt by many men, but I have also hurt myself in so many ways. And instead of focusing on all those things, I'm learning to come into true surrender of them. I'm just fully traveling. If you've ever, I have to mention the book and the movie The Shack because that is such an inspiration to me. It's all I can think about. It's you journey up that mountain, you get that letter from God. I got a letter from God, 22 scriptures from God. I wrote about it in my journal. Yeshua and Mary Magdalene, they're very much with me, helping me through this. And it's just, they're reminding me that, it's all worthwhile. It's what I wrote back in August for everybody for this coming year. Everything is so worthwhile. What I'm fighting for, what I'm standing in truth of, it's a real thing, and it's what I'm here to do. And here to sing alive people's bodies again and tell them what's happening with this planet and to see what's the true gift of what's really unfolding. It's not, it is so not the version of hell that everybody is seeing for me. It's I create heaven. It's here now. Peace is only found within you, and it's just been one heck of a journey for me. And I'm not at all done. It's just this is just where I'm currently at. It's just what I've been really thinking about and sitting on and processing, and I'm letting it move through my body. I'm feeling it. I'm sitting with it. For the first time in my entire life, I'm not in resistance. I'm not anxious. If there is depression, it's only the sadness of that feeling of let my people go. Just let them go. That's it. That's my sadness. It's my anger. That's my rage. Is that this matrix won't let us go. We won't let ourselves go. That self-obsession. In the modern Western world, self-obsession is everywhere. People are obsessed with how they feel and how they look, with what they wear, with what they own, where they live. As long as you're looking at yourself, you cannot see around you, and there is the rub. Until you come to recognize your own self-obsession, you cannot transcend it, which is why it is necessary. It is a necessary evil. All inner journeys begin with this self-obsession, and it can truly become an endless labyrinth. Even when self-obsession takes the form of a spiritual search, it can become a trap. In fact, in many ways, the spiritual search for truth that is gripping so many individuals in our Western world today is the greatest self-obsession of all. The path itself easily becomes an addiction that keeps you from truly becoming yourself. I was stuck in that too, also that self-obsession of who am I, what's my name, what identity, da, 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 da. Name, goddess. When spirit has always told me, I am that I am. You are, I am, all of that. Every goddess, I am the goddess Delphi. I'm also Andromeda. I'm all of it. Yes, I'm Trinity. Father, Son, Holy Spirit, Mother, Maiden, Crone, Divine Mother, Divine Father, and the Child. I am the child, and I perfectly balance the both of them. So it is Trinity alignment. That's what I'm here for. You know, we're all part of Trinity. I'm not just Trinity. I call myself Trinity. I was told to take that name because that's it's the name that makes me feel alive. If there's a name that makes you feel alive, go by it. You're not you're not the identity that has been created right now. You're so much more. So the more you look for your own identity, the more ephemeral it becomes. The circular paths do eventually arrive at breakthrough. Those who tread the path of self-knowledge, the ancient Chinese name for the 10th hexagram of the I Ching is treading, will eventually escape the treadmill once they realize that what they are seeking cannot be found. I've already found me. It's done with the seeking. I know I am. This is a spontaneous revelation that can occur only when you have been well and truly lost to the maze pathways of the self, or mazy pathways. No one can say how long it will take for such a revelation to dawn, since it differs from individual to individual, but it cannot be faked. What is happening to me is not fake. What I'm writing about is not fake. I'm not fake. And that's why I keep going off on people about fake. And kind of after those that I see, they are being fake. This, I'm authentic. I'm not fake. And anybody who wants to come against me with that will face their own shadows. Or I put up a mirror. Trinity is the triple mirror. That's my gift. Can't crack what's already been cracked and glued back together purposely. The true revelation that comes from the 10th shadow leads inevitably to this creative explosion that emerges through the 10th gift of naturalness. That's all I can ever talk about is the natural state. Anything beyond that, anything less than that, no, no thanks. So then this comes into the repressive nature of self-denying. The introverted nature of the shadow of self-obsession is to deny oneself altogether. This kind of reversal of the energy of self-obsession becomes entirely centrifugal and focuses on everything and anything but oneself. These are people whose lives are lived for others and through others. However, such martyrdom does not have a positive spin and cannot serve evolution. These lives are made up entirely of compromise in which those who deny themselves become like zombies for the collective. These are the people I'm talking about. It's like you're just a zombie right now. You don't even know what you're doing. All this, though this kind of language may sound shocking, a huge majority of the world population lives like this, with no real self-love and no true center of heart within them themselves. I was trying to show a woman named Shanti Zimmerman this and really show her what Shanti is. And that was, she wasn't ready for the message. And, I share that in my blog. Beautiful woman and great potential and very much a reflection of part of me. And it hurts that she didn't really want to receive because I could have taken her to a much more higher. I don't even know what word to use. It would just be a more conscious, aware level of emotional alchemy that she's already doing. She's already doing great, but there's just the level she can take it that would benefit herself and others on such greater scales. Same with a lot of other women that I've kind of approached, and they're mad because I'm like, look at this, and they're like, okay, sorry, didn't mean to piss you off, but kind of did a little bit because I'm a trigger. I'm a catalyst. I am purposely pissing you off, and I know I'm doing it. Sorry, I'm a bitch. What a girl named Kira Ellis wanted to say. I'm a stupid, ugly bitch, okay? Yeah, I am sometimes. And I'm allowed to be. I got permission by the divine. I have a video recording saying, no apology necessary. And I can post that up eventually for people to see, but it really doesn't matter. I don't need to prove anything to anybody. That's just where I am being. These people are the prime targets for the great world religions. Their self-denial does not allow them to recognize the divine within themselves, finding it far easier to project such an authority outside of them. Our authority is not outside of us. It is in our hearts. It's in with our I am. There is no authority other than that. Fuck authority. I'm a fucking revolutionist here, okay? I love authority. Divine authority. Self-awareness authority. Not abuse authority. Okay, reactive nature, narcissistic. Which is really funny that I brought up Shanti Zimmerman because she had posted, it was in her post that she was talking about narcissism. And I forget, she was saying whether it's that, it's dehumanizing not to recognize them or something. I don't even know. Something about dehumanization with it. And I was like, I know the ins and outs of narcissists. I've experienced them to the depths that they can go. I'm no idiot in this stuff, and I knew what I was talking about when I entered her Facebook speaking about it, and I was talking to others, and she was, for a while I knew she wasn't vibing with me because I'm just like her. I am an emotional alchemist. I'm a quantum emotional alchemist. I don't just work with the 3D, which is kind of where she's limiting herself. I go beyond that, so much beyond that. And I brought, my opinions of narcissism. I brought in the gene keys to her table. I told her, I finally let out what I was feeling in regards where I was just like, she's trying to, I don't know, she was trying to make a lot of money off of what she's doing. And I was just like, I felt like she didn't even really know what she was doing. She herself was being a narcissist talking about narcissism. That's what I saw. That's what I kind of was like, I was a little annoyed. So I was processing that for a couple of weeks. I had finally vented to her, and then of course she blocked me, which is fine. Most people do. I don't give. I don't care. They'll come back if they come back. Fine. If not, a seed has, in my opinion, been planted. That's all that I needed to do. I just need to go. Just need to shake her up a little bit. Because she's sitting behind in this little box, and she's got this glass box around her, and she's sticking her hand out. Hey, touch me. I'll give you love today, maybe, or I get to choose. I'm not choosing. I'm being. You're either here with me doing the being, or you're just floating and being a narcissist. I don't know. Okay, so anyways, when the self-obsessive force is externalized through the reactive nature, it becomes truly narcissistic in the sense that it excludes all others. Just as the repressive nature denies its own existence, the reactive denies existence of others. These are people whose lives are based entirely around themselves. The fear within them lives as anger. They project their fear of losing their identity onto others and onto society in general, which is pretty much what I felt I saw happening within Shanti. She's not really doing emotional alchemy. It's more of a victim, blah, blah, thinking you're getting anything beyond that victimization, but she's really not. And I didn't want to pay her $200 to have a session with her just to come to her to understand this. It's more of a session, a synchronistic expansion that I wanted with her, rather than I'm going to pay you and you're going to tell me how to deal with this emotion. No, it's like I don't want her to pay me. Neither did I want to pay her for an hour. It's like I'm here to kind of help you, but you have to want that help. I'm not all about the money, and she was. I'm just like, and Gene Keys will go through that too. Such people cannot yield any part of themselves to others. She obviously was not able to do so with me. They live in paranoia that the world around others will somehow rob them of their right to freedom. The reactive nature finds relationships the hardest of all, since they are essentially locked in a love affair with themselves, but not with their true self. The true self is everywhere and everything, since its nature is love. However, to release such a concept, one has to drop the very thing that gives one the illusion of safety, the illusion of individuality or individual identity. So we're going to go into the 10th gift of naturalness, living your own myth. I'm doing that. I'm living a myth. Fucking done it. The gift of naturalness is a gift that waits within every human being. It is the center of your being, and only through the center can you express your own creative uniqueness. The life of every individual human being is a journey through the frequency of the 10th gene key. To be natural means to be yourself. We are all trying to be who we are, but many of us have been conditioned to be other than who we are. It has been this way throughout our history, ever since we began to develop the complex neocortex. The moment the mind was equipped to reflect on itself, the primal question, who am I, was born. Prior to this question, human beings did live in this state of Prior to this question, human beings did live in the state of naturalness, but only in the sense that they were more of a part of an animal kingdom and had not yet fully developed into Homo sapiens. Even so, it is still interesting how much we can learn about this gift through the animal kingdom, whose normal state is naturalness.